Hey, how you guys doing? One second, gotta mark this down. We're doing Wesley Stowe Game 9 Candidate. The Candidate Marathon, guys. So, let's see how we're doing. Okay, excellent. Let's start. Let me get my soda opened. Oops. Sometimes, I think I got. Sometimes I get stuff there. There we go. I hate when I get particles in it, so I got all the particles out. Ugh. And where the drinking spot is. Was better. I don't know how they get in there, but they do. Okie dokie. Wesley is white, and Alexander Khrushchev is black. But we are going to call him Alexander. And we are going to call white Wesley so that we can keep it, quick, and I could talk about it with their names properly. Okay, let us start. Wesley goes e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Man, they like the Roy Lopez, don't they? I've seen so many Roy Lopez's. They either have the Catalan, Roy Lopez, or Fabi's favorite is the Petrov or Russian game. The knight f3, 6. So this is the Berlin defense. Castles and takes. Knight takes, and then bishop e7. So now this is an equal game. Wesley retreats back, and so that when this happens, when this gets taken, the rook will actually then take back. And then black castles. And it's protected, so now it's an equal game, slightly better for, not slightly, but equal. D is the only way to kind of get some advantage in this opening. Because what happens is, if f6 is played as what Alexander played, it is interesting to say the least, because this move potentially here, what they're saying, it's kind of, I don't agree with it. And I'm glad the computer switched to rook to e1, because this move really doesn't make sense. The bishop move to d3, because why would you sacrifice? There's really no attack. First of all, retreat your bishop back. I mean your rook back. If the rook slides over, then you can bring your bishop out attacking the knight, and that's interesting. I don't know if let me see here. Wouldn't he lose a piece though if he did that? Can't he just win this piece? Okay, then you take. All right. Then you can play. Okay. You develop, or do you play Queen D? Probably. Yeah, you're gonna have to play there, and then when the bishop moves back, I think the compensation for white is black's really sad-looking center pawns. And then white can develop it with huge amount of force, something like this. And then the bishop gets attacked, and first he takes, and then the queen takes, because you don't want to divide up your and then potentially rook. Yeah, rook smacks that, and then if queen comes, or queen comes there, it depends, which one you want. You can actually retreat back or trade off here, and then if queen takes, pawn takes, and yes, you have an isolated pawn, but you're in equal material. That pawn's under fire, so the bishop's going to have to hold that pawn, and then you develop your bishop. And if the rook slides over here, you can actually at this point, if he takes, you take, bishop takes, and he does have a small sitch. because you bring that up, and then the rook comes over, it takes, and then you can actually bring down and start actually check here, and then when the king moves up, you can actually slide over, and when the pawn pushes, then you bring your rook up, and you're gonna win something. You'll win something. He'll get this pawn back here, and you bring the king up, and it's still equal material. White has a pawn majority on the queen side, black has a pawn majority on the king side, so it's who can get their pawns going the most. And white's king's more active, black's rook's more passive, so white has a potential to attack b6 better. So we'll just go back to the game at hand. And so now everything's more solid. So Wesley should have, let me see, what should he have played? Let's see what the computer likes. So it does like his move. Why did it say 0 then? Well, I guess it's because it's an equal position, isn't it? G6, which, wow. Queen e2 was not the most effective move. I probably would have developed my knight, like the computer says, because remember, it's about development. And so be it if black gets to play here. Now you're up, and then you can develop. Now you have your rooks, you have everything developed, and potentially after bishop here, you take. You first have to take because you don't want to. You want to, if then when he takes here, you can actually bring your queen in and attack the pawn here and here and here, and then next here and in there, and you have a slight advantage. So yeah, you want to bring your knight in, and you have to kind of get some development going. But besides doing the knight move, Wesley played queen e1, e2. Not a bad move, not the best move. c6, not the best move for black, of course. The best move would have been the knight move and coming in here, or the knight move and then bringing the bishop out. When the trade happens, dropping your knight in here, and that's the best spot. Okay, knight d2 is played. And so the structure looks very similar, but Wesley got it a kind of awkward route. The only difference between the one that we played before with the knight here is that Alexander played c6 rather than knight to g7. So knight g7 was played, rook e1, and so now there's a pretty good amount of threat going to be happening. Potentially that can happen. So takes, knight takes, and bishop f. I don't know. I might have played what the computer played, kind of to provoke a weakness. Because this knight to b3 move provokes the weakness of b6. Then you can always, if you ever had to, retreat your knight back. And now, yes, he could play there, but remember, this still provokes a weakness. Because, excuse me, pardon me, Wesley has a better pawn structure than Alexander, so his advantage is endgame play. So if you were to play somebody kind of not a grandmaster in this scenario here, you have a higher chance of winning because you guys know more endgame because of the studies that we're doing through Chess Cruncher TV, and we're going to start into our endgame studies. So be prepared for the world of endgame to shock you. How powerful it is. Okay. So he took the bishop, knight takes, and f3, knight f3, g6, bishop moves in, correct so far. Knight, bishop takes, queen takes, e5. This is mainly a drawn position because the structure is very symmetrical. So with grandmasters, it's going to end up being a draw. G6 is an okay move. The knight moves to a pin. What Wesley's going to try to do is move his queen and see if Alexander is going to try to, if it was his turn, to come over here and try to take scope on the pin of the knight to the queen. But the king moves up, so it's still fine because Wesley has the move. And now Wesley wants to see if he can't infiltrate to b3. So the queen moves back, the knight moves, rotates, queen takes, knight takes. This should end up a draw. Knight f5, so knight comes in. There's really no way. Yeah, there's really no way of going for, like, if you wanted to cement the structure and try to get some advantage, this type of a move here would solidify everything. But the only problem is that it does leave that hanging. So you can attack the knight then there, and if he comes in here, you can actually bring the king in, and it would end up becoming a draw. There's no real way of moving. But remember, only at the Grandmaster stages does this end up becoming a draw. So if you're playing just average player, person who knows just the principles, don't resign here. Don't go for a draw here. Try to push. But if you're not very good in knight moves and you feel kind of like uncertain, best thing to do is get a draw, even if you're white. You don't want to lose the game. So sometimes you can get a draw if you do that. So just remember that. Draws sometimes are victories, my teacher told me. As long as you did your best 100%. Knight f8. G4. Knight d6. H4. H6. G3. King moves up. King f2. G5. H takes G. H takes G. And if this is played, you solidify here. And if this is played, you solidify here. And then if that's played, you play here. He goes back. There's no real points of entry, and it's a draw basically. Because there's no way that you can break through. Anybody that tries to break through in this scenario here will end up losing. So let's see if we can. Knight comes. It comes back. Let's see. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. 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 We'll just see if it ends up in a draw. I'm on a computer. Trying to get it come around. Potentially you could somewhat get infiltrated in, but it's going to end up a draw eventually. Because there's really no way to, let's see, what's black going to move? Yeah, he's got a block here. And then king moves in. Knight takes. Pawn takes. push, knight takes. And I'm not sure if this is a draw. It potentially is. I think it might be. Yeah, it should be a draw. You have to bring the knight in. Come on, computer, don't lag on me now. I think we have to play up here if I'm not mistaken. Come on, don't lag on me now. Yeah. And then you play here, and it ends up a draw. So the king has to move here. You have to move there. And then there's no way of making progress. It's a draw. And so rather than go through that, Wesley and Alexander just agreed to a draw at that symmetrical point. But trust me, your opponents aren't going to see these moves, okay? So try to press it if you can. Go for it, okay? But if you feel like, you don't feel confident in it, don't worry about it, guys. You know what? Take the draw, move on. But if you feel like you can push it, go for it all the way. Okay, we're going to do some puzzles now. Once this reconnects. Come on, reconnect. Internet stitches all the time are a problem. Come on. Oi, 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 oi. And then if you're wondering what would happen is if he went here, he would just go here, back and forth this way. If he went here, he'd just go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So, or here, he'd just go back, forth, back, forth. And he would, black would move his king in and eventually draw. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. What in the world is going on here? Wow. Well, you guys got to see the draw, so it's fine. Man, they need to work on their internet because there's a sitch going on here. Oh boy, come on. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord Jesus. Really, I mean that too. It's like, I thought we weren't going to be able to do it. Sometimes their internet has a sitch. Alright, good, it's reconnecting. It's reconnected, sweet. Okie dokie, let's do this thing. Oh boy, boy, boy. Oh no, come on. Thank you. Hold on, let me make sure everything's working out okay. Because there's some sitch going on here with the internet. Just give me a sec, guys, and we'll get into tactics. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, finally. Okay, good. Okay, we are good now. Oops. Yikes. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We will get this. I'm on. I can't believe this. This is just like crazy. There we go. Good. Finally, everything's settled down. Okay, let's maybe having too many windows up. Okay, we gotta stay in the focus, stay in the zone, because these things will pop up over the board. Like you may have to get a clock reset or something. So don't worry about it. Just get the clock reset, head back in, and win. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay. So let's see what this move did here to the sitch. First of all, we gotta look at captures. Checks, captures, forks, pins, skewers, decoys, all that. That's how you look for in tactics, and then you can make plans around that using Aikido, which is drawback chess. So let's see here. Okay, if we I'm just trying to think here. Let's see if we play bishop takes, king. See, bishop takes there, and we win. So he's not going to do that. He'll take with his king, and his king will come out. So do we have anything with that? Let's see, do we first want to move our rook up? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? Joy of the ride. You gotta have the joy of chess. Okay. It's too bad we couldn't get a bishop here. And then we'd take here, bishop would take there, and then we could win a piece. But I don't think this is based on pieces. Let's see if we could try to find a knockout. Sometimes it's based on KOing your opponent. Trying to see, okay, if we play bishop, c4, so rook takes, bishop, pawn takes, rook takes. See. So these squares were surrendered when he moved. Also, that was a surrendered point as well, so that if we ever wanted to play C, but he could check there at that point, so I don't like that. The best I see is actually bishop c4, so... Not bishop c4. Okay, so we did have bishop. Okay, so we did have we'll do that again. Bishop takes. There we go. Scratch for a second. There we go. Better now. Okay. We have basically two spots. On potential, we could just move down, but I think that'd be the idea if we did. There's two double attacks. One here that attacks the rook, which he would take here at that point, and I don't think we acquire anything at that moment. So if we play here and he moves his bishop, we have knight g5 at that point. So you have pawn g1, which the bishop's under fire. And then you can play there. So let's see here. Rook takes. Then you actually could play pawn. I mean, knight there, and then bishop takes. I mean, rook takes bishop. Then you could take the bishop, forking the two pieces. So it also holds on to this square as well. The pawn on g2. It really solidifies everything. That allows for that, and then the whole pawn structure along here will fall. So this is the one that makes the most. Oh, you're kidding me. What? Really? I mean, oh. Oh. Why doesn't... Oh, because the double attack. Why doesn't that work? Let me see what happens. Okay, the bishop retreats back. Probably would be able to... Okay. That forces that exchange. Actually, he probably could. Yeah, he would have to take there, wouldn't he? And then if you played there, it's mate and 1. Let's see here. Let's see okay, so the queen moves from here to here, leaves this pawn there. From the defense is gone there. The bishop is not protected there either. I would try to take that, but if he takes back, he still has that there. Trying to see if knight e7 doesn't work, because that would attack the pin piece. And then if he takes here, well, no, the knight guards the queen, so that wouldn't end well for us. So that's guarded. So we may have to play rook takes first. And then if knight takes, then that potentially might actually apply for us. Or maybe not, because then the bishop. We're trying to figure out if I play there, king takes, rook takes, knight takes, knight there, rook takes, bishop takes. There has to be something more simple than we're missing. We could attack the queen here, so that is an idea as well. And then if the queen has to retreat back, does that really do anything though? Not really. That's kind of a null move, not a good move. Let's see, if we played here, or if we played there, no. If you guys have any ideas, that'd be helpful. Let's see if we play knight there. Knight check. And if king moved over, got bishop check. Yeah. Knight takes. So here, there, there. Try to see here, there, there, there. It's pretty flexible for rook takes, because that does he does take with his king though, but we do get to trade off a rook for 2 pieces, so let's see if we take here. He'll take here. We'll take there. Then he can bring his knight there, and then we take and takes. And we have a knight here, but we're still up in exchange. But we trade down. I'm gonna take with the rook. Oh, don't. Oh. Why isn't this on rook? Let me see. Okay, if we played rook takes here. So it's a draw. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. If we play here, he will move the queen back either here. And move the queen back here. We bring our knight there. So here, here, bring our knight there. If the rook takes, queen takes, and then we take the bishop. So we'd be in an exchange up. Yeah. Well, wait, if we played there... No, that's not... Now that I think about it, that's a really not the best move, because if we play here, he'll just take there. Well, I guess we could do that, couldn't we? There, because the queen... No. Okay, so we're ready to play c6. Pawn c6. Can't even play here, because if we play there, he goes there, there, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then the queen comes there. That stinks. Protected there. That's mate. Bishop's almost trapped, so I'm just trying to find a way to trap the bishop. Let's see, is there anything that we're missing here? Here, there. Zero, so if we played here, there, so here, here, there, there, there. We are threatening mate. Hey. Let's go to move one and see kind of what they're wanting. if we played here, let's retreat back. So we gotta push it while he's kind of awkwardly mobile. Well, maybe we can just play there. If we play here and he moves back, we could actually play in here and potentially maybe win a rook. That might be the move. So let's give it a go. The only stitch about taking here is the queen takes back with check. But I guess you're right. We could then just move, but well, if here, rook takes. I'm thinking potentially we just push. And then we have there, so if he plays here, we can always play there. So here, we play here, and it attacks the queen, our knight gets out, and we're safe. If we go here, he can't go there. If he goes here, we play knight there, forking the two pieces. So I believe that's, oh, wow, okay. That's puzzling. Okay. So we trade off. Then if he pushed here, we just, okay, we move our king. Yeah, queen 5 was available. Okay, let's see what we got here. 2 here. There. Yeah, I'm thinking h5. So there. Takes, knight takes. Trying to see, h5 is just too straight forward for us. Let's see, if we played bishop takes, knight, rook takes, bishop, queen takes, pawn takes, takes, king takes. We're down 2 pawns, so we can't do that. I was trying to figure out a way that we somehow could get our no, it wouldn't turn out very good because we have 4 versus 6. I know, I'm trying to see if we get really anything here. I believe we could potentially play after we play here, and let's say he moves here, we could play here, and that does kind of deal with some pawn structure issues, but I don't know if I like that. I'm trying to see. Okay, here. So he's not going to play there. So here, we'll say he plays right there. Then we can actually play here. So. And That's different. We take, yeah. So that's the only stitch I was, I think it might be rookie 1. If I'm, yeah, I was thinking about taking here. He takes there. We play queen here. And we're threatening checkmate there with our queen. Yeah. Yeah, I like that move. That's, yeah, and then here, and then there, and it's basically KO at that point. Nice find. Good job, guys. Okay. That left the defender here, and that's kind of on pre as well. Oh yeah, that is true. That would be nice. That would be nice. But LHS can't, do everything, I guess. So you know what? We gotta do our part and solve that puzzle properly. So but that's kind of a little into the fray, I believe. The bishop is, so we could take advantage of that. I mean, the rook. We should be able to take advantage of that. Well, I'm seeing first we have to take here, then the bishop takes, and then rook c1 would end up being there. Yeah. Because what would have to happen at this point is he'd have to actually trade there. So when we play c1, rook c1, he's going to have to take there. Yeah. Wow, he didn't take. Snikes. That's interesting. See, if we play rook takes here, takes, and then we checkmate there. So rook takes, yeah, that actually is. Then you play queen, queen takes rook is forced, and we're going to be eventually a whole bishop up. You can't play here because they're and here, and he would win 2 pieces, so the only move that you could play is that. And there you go. We're doing this, guys. We're on this now. Let's kick this up a notch. Let's put it into second gear and start crunching these puzzles. Let's see if we play takes here. Knight takes, check. Takes e5, check. Pawn takes e5. Queen takes, queen there, check. Queen comes here. Queen takes queen. King takes, and then rook takes, and we've won. Oh, you like queen a4? I don't know. I think we should just leave that knight alone. I think that this would be the move. Knight e5, check, takes, check, and if when the king moves back, yeah, that's what I'm here. Maybe I'm missing something. We'll be right back. I'm thinking about something like this, but only thing I'm worried about is that. So. Wait a second. Would we be able to then play B4 at that point? So here, 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 there, and then B4. Maybe. I'll leave that with you guys to decide. Right back. could potentially play bishop takes, but actually I forgot that that's under fire. So what do you guys think? Knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, check, king moves, d5 right away. Why? Why is d5? Do you have a reason for d5? Because we need to show lines of thought, because it would tell you, Chris, if why move d5, queen d5. Is it because that if he plays here, we can take something similar to that? So I think that's maybe what. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. And then at this point, we take and we win. Good find there, because that does handle this sitch. If he plays here, you can just play there. And then if he plays there, we take here. And then if he plays here, then you take pawn takes, pawn takes, and then you can actually take there. So yeah, that's a really nice find there. Really good find. Let's see here. If we take, king takes, pawn takes, check, king goes back, queen there, it's covered, so we don't accomplish anything in that takes here. We do have queen there, so here, here, queen there. That is a point of entry, so here, there, there. It really can't be stopped. The mate. I guess it could with there. So E8, rook takes, queen takes, king H2, and that should be mate. Interesting. What if he goes back though? Oh, I guess we could play here, and then if queen tries to intercept, no, that's a check at that point. Snap. Huh. I like that too. Let's give that a go. Oh, it guards. Oh, we missed the guarding point, because if he plays here, then we checkmate in 2. The queen blocks this point here, the protection. Oh, that makes sense. Well, see, that makes sense. If we play over here, he then has the ability to block here. We're still ahead in material and stuff, but this move here stops if the queen was to play here. It sets up for mate 2. Okay, not bad. I see that now. That makes sense. That was a cool puzzle, I gotta say. Really nifty. It was a manual tall kind of puzzle when you could put a piece on a protected square of a pawn. When you could do that, you've arrived. Yeah. Let's see here. If we check here, we go up there and attack the queen. And then if he checks here, we actually move up there, and we're threatening mate. Because if he goes there, we could try rook b1. That might be an idea. Trying to get scope on rook b8. Our rook d1 or b is an idea, because we're threatening checkmate. Trying to see which one to play. There's also rook e7 might be an idea too. So there's here, here, and then there for move ideas for the rook. I'm thinking it might be rook e7 now that I'm looking at it, because it threatens rook e7. And if he plays here, you actually got check. You can actually check there. Or I'm bad, sorry. Check here and then infiltrate in there. What do you guys think? Rook e7? So that puts more of a threat to the... He gets a check in, so here, check, king up, But remember, rook e7, we get to take first. And if he goes b3, so rook here, and he goes b3, we actually mate. So I'm thinking something. I'm thinking rook e7. Let me see here. So he's gonna have to push this pawn here. So then we'll check there. If he comes up here, he can't really leave his rook because it'd be on pre if he goes somewhere over here. We take the rook because then we can just check. Yeah, I think rook e7's the move. Okay, queen takes, rook h2, and if check here, we just bring that rook back down and we're safe. So the queen takes, and if check here, we just bring this one right back down and we're good to go. We're still ahead. We'll do one, like one or two more. We'll see how our time goes. I know we could do one more. Let's see, what do we got here? So attacking our rook. Excuse me, so it's only defended by this knight, so if somehow we can get rid of this knight, we would be right as rain. It's double fork here, here, there. Gotta tell you, that's a power move. Power move. Wow. We could play there. Snap. I'm trying to figure out this. Do you guys have any ideas? I'm thinking like rook at db1, or potential queen takes, knight takes, rook db8, and something like a check or something. Me too. Well, let's just take a look kind of to see. Me neither, so. So he's attacking here. There's really two moves that could solve the problem. Those two moves. Let's see, rook here, queen takes, pawn takes, bishop d3. So if we play queen takes, knight takes, bishop d3. Well, then we could play knight here attacking. We could go, if we played here, he played here, we could actually infiltrate our rooks a different way too. Something like that. Ooh. I even thought of if we played here. And we don't have enough material, so. Potentially it's here, here. We could play knight takes. So here, here, knight takes. If we do e5, the knight would take e5. So good. That's a good good idea. See here, there, a5, and then they're fine. Now, you know what's a good idea? Hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. We're looking to see if that works. Queen h4. And then if she takes here, we can actually check mate there. So I think you're right with that. I like that move. Well, I think we're probably gonna we'll see what the next one looks like real quick. We'll do one more. And then I gotta log. One more. Wow, that was a good find on that one. That was like, whoa. I think that should be more than that should be more than 7 points, but that's just my opinion. I think that should at least be in the teens. does handle a lot, doesn't it? And if the bishop goes back, we win the rook. And then if the rook comes here, that is an interesting point. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Well, finish this one. I think if we do, I think he could actually play there at that point. Huh. I think that's kind of like forced. So if we play here, he plays there, we take, he takes, we take. If he protects here, we actually win a piece in that realm. Yeah, I think that's... And at this point, I believe we potentially win material. I'm just trying to... So like if we play here, he comes over here, we can move our queen. No, we can't move our queen at that point. Snap. Huh. Yikes. Huh. Yeah, I was thinking that, but let's see here. I'm thinking that maybe we have to play our bishop to c4. Let's see, if we take here, he plays there. Bishop c6. If we do bishop c6, queen there, bishop takes. That is an interesting idea here, there. And that does win 3 pieces. we'd win this, this, and that for the queen. So I'm not sure if that's because this is a puzzling one. So I want to play here, but then he's got there, and it's like, well, we could take here, queen takes, and then takes, and it's equal material, opposite color bishops. Let's see here, there, takes, and we have a double attack going. Yeah, I think it is bishop takes, if I'm not mistaken. And at this point, I believe we play bishop c6. Bishop c6. Yeah, because what happens is at this point he takes there, and then we take here, and he takes, and then we take, and we're up material at that point. Boom. Okay. I promised I'd go over one game. We'll go over this game. No, I can't do any more tactics tonight, but we'll go over a quick game real quick. We'll see what we got here. Okay. Let's see. Well, we get you. You guys are doing good. You know what? Couldn't done it without you guys. Let's see. I'm white here, so I think this might be the one. Let me see here. Is this the one that okay, I queened in this one. I think I remember this one slightly. Oh. Let's see here. H. Yeah, knight comes in. And then you just develop everything. You castles. H3, and then H4. And you takes, and yeah, I just keep bringing material into the fight. Now I control the open file here, and he has to hold on to he's in full defense. And now I'm gonna pry open the king. And It's time to get all the troops in to the fight. And you just keep pushing. Just lock everything, and just locking every single thing down before the big push. And then I win a pawn there. I retreat back. There's no real reason to go crazy. I probably could have kept my bishop there and just retreated my dark squared bishop back. And then he would have probably exchanged, or maybe done that. And then something similar to this would have arisen. I retreat back, he moved there. Takes. And I take. And this move here was the death. This was using a pin. I'm gonna win a pawn. So, and these two bishops were like the superhero warriors. And now I'm going after the weak backward pawn. I take that. I take here, there. I think I probably should have taken. No, I don't think that would have been a good take. Now that I think about it, he takes, and if I could trade off the bishops, I'm winning. I'm actually 2 pawns up in an endgame, so. The only way to win, if I was to play here and takes, I think I still could have won, but it just would have been easier for him to defend. So the best thing to do was actually to strengthen my 2 passers, and this pawn ain't going anywhere. I can get this pawn up to h7, and these guys will menace the king. So I probably should have started something like that. And if he played there, well, probably not, now that I think about it. That right there would have been a better move at this point. And he would have had to play something like, actually he would have had to play something like there. So yeah, this push actually would have been better. I was getting low on time, so that push is actually winning. I could have taken time just for a second to bring my king up, and then if he played here, I could have played up. So when I moved up, he took and I moved there. So this back here, more of a killer move would have been instead of there, here, and there's really no way he can stop both threats. And I don't have really any worry with this bishop guards everything. That pawn's blocked, so this would have just been devastating. So that was a pretty good game, I gotta say. That was a good game. It went to endgame, and endgame is something we need to all work on. Yeah, it was some of my moves were good, but I needed to. I'm still improving, so. But it was a really good end game. This was my slide and accuracy. So remember, don't get too hasty pushing. I guess a good note to end on here for if we want to learn some end game. If you get pawns like this, you have a bishop, and he moves something like that, just push. You know what? You have plenty of time. Just push the pawn, and he can't stop it. See, it just goes right up the board. And also, this should remind you as well, if If you get in a situation like this, don't play here. Play something like that. Because if you ever get behind the pawn, your opponent will just push it up the board. And remember, if we traded off all these pieces here, 2 connecting passed pawns can stop a lone king. We'll go over that real quick. I'll just show you an example. Board editor. That's why I made sure that I connected my pawns. It was endgame insurance. I'll show you. We'll put 2 pawns here, and we'll put the enemy black king. We'll do it from white's point of view, and I'll even put my king over here, and we'll have it be black to move. And I'll show you some. 1 second. Do I have this on the right side? Yeah, good, I do. Perfect. Oh, I need to flip the board though. There we go. Okay, it's black to move. If he goes here, the pawn goes up the board. So he has to stay here, and then you get to bring in your king. And also, if he takes here, this pawn goes up the board. That's why when I played the game back here, where is that? I pushed. This was my endgame insurance. That if these pieces, all those got traded off, I can always win with these pawns here. These 2 pawns are my endgame winning insurance. And so then all you'd have to do at this point, let's get that. Come on. All right. It's just it's a easy win. You just bring in, and we'll show you how. Because it's good to kind of go. You have to learn how to do endgame. Then you push. He has to go back. It goes there, and then you have to bring your king back. Remember, bring the king back when he goes there. Up goes the pawns. My teacher taught me this. And then sometimes to force a pawn through, you got to be careful. You can also play here, or you can force a pawn through with something like that. Or you could just move your king up and he moves, and then you come in here and you can queen both pawns. Either way, you're going to get a pawn through. You go that way, or you just you move your king up, he has to go away, and then you just move your king over. That's an endgame. Okay, thank you all for coming on and helping out with the tactics. We're going to get there. We'll get there. Thank you for the game, Fish. That was I'm glad we got to go over that, because the best way to learn is actually through your own games. So going over your own games is a really good way of learning. So if you have like a game that you did over the board, or you faced the computer, or you played somebody, go over it with the engine, and you find out why the moves are good and why the moves aren't good. You have to get an understanding of it. That's the whole thing. Don't just go right into another game. If you lose, take it back to the engine, find out where you could have improved, and the engine will tell you up here. Oops. Right. Come on. Right here. Why it's 7.5 pawns, and then what you can do is from the engine work out the moves. Work out the moves all the way to see why it's 7.5 pawns. And it'll show you maybe a tactic, maybe an end game, some end game you can work on. So use an engine that way, but don't lean on it as a crutch. Remember, the purpose of the engine is to help you improve, not for you to rely always on it. So, okay, well, with that, guys, keep studying chess, keep doing good, and remember, always learn from your mistakes. That's the whole thing. keep moving forward, and always, always there's a plan in the position. Just be patient. Sometimes you have to breathe. You have to stop for a second. If you have to close your eyes, if you have to get up, if you're at a board, over the board game, and go somewhere, maybe to get some soda or whatever you like, a little water or something. Just walk around if you have time. Then close your eyes, breathe, and believe that the Lord will always be there for you. Okay? So remember, keep studying and keep getting better. Use your mind for Him. And so, as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, guys, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Remember, the only way to get better is slow steps. Like the turtle said against the hare, it's, you know what, slow but steady, and the turtle won the race. So just remember that. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed evening or morning, and we will be back, same time, same station. Bye-bye, guys.